The veil between mind and matter isn't merely thin, it's an illusion. What Carl Jung discovered through decades of clinical practice and esoteric study was nothing short of revolutionary, a forbidden law of thought so powerful that its implications have been deliberately obscured from public consciousness for millennia. This isn't merely positive thinking or manifestation techniques. It's a fundamental principle of reality that challenges everything science claims to know about the nature of existence. Have you ever experienced a synchronicity so precise, so perfectly aligned with your innermost thoughts that it seemed impossible to dismiss as coincidence? These moments aren't random. They're glimpses into the true operating system of reality. What if the most powerful institutions throughout history, from religious hierarchies to scientific establishments, have systematically suppressed humanity's understanding of how consciousness creates reality? Jung's most controversial findings, many published only after his death, reveal that the human mind possesses quantum capabilities for manipulating the material world that vastly exceed our conventional understanding. The collective unconscious isn't just a repository of symbolic archetypes, but a unified field where thoughts transform into physical form through specific vibrational patterns. Those who've learned to navigate this field consciously report experiences that would be dismissed as supernatural if they weren't documented consistently across cultures and throughout history. The ancient mystery schools of Egypt, Greece, and Tibet weren't merely philosophical societies, but advanced training systems for reality engineers. Their elaborate initiation rituals, sacred geometries, and precise sound technologies weren't symbolic gestures, but sophisticated methods for accessing and directing the quantum field. Jung's forbidden law reveals why certain individuals throughout history have demonstrated seemingly miraculous abilities. They discovered how to consciously engage with the energetic templates that precede physical manifestation. The deeper you venture into Jung's work, the more you'll recognize that what we call reality is actually a consensus hallucination maintained by collective thought patterns and reinforced through cultural programming. Today, you'll discover how to identify and dissolve the psychic implants limiting your natural reality-creating abilities. You'll learn precisely how the shadow aspects of your consciousness create unconscious projections that manifest as external challenges, and how to reclaim this misplaced energy for conscious reality manipulation. Jung's most guarded techniques for accessing the astral plane, the dimensional interface where thoughts take form before physical manifestation, will be revealed in practical terms anyone can apply. By understanding the precise mechanisms through which consciousness collapses quantum wave functions into material form, you'll recognize why certain visualization practices work while others fail, and how to calibrate your energetic frequency to manifest with unprecedented precision. In the shadowy depths of the human mind lies a forgotten law of thought, one that Carl Jung discovered through decades of working with patients and studying ancient wisdom traditions. This principle, considered forbidden by those who cling to materialistic worldviews, reveals that our thoughts possess an extraordinary ability to reshape reality itself. Jung recognized that consciousness isn't merely passive, but actively participates in creating our lived experience through what he termed synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that defy conventional causality. As he delved deeper into the collective unconscious, Jung uncovered a startling truth. The barrier between mind and matter is far more permeable than modern science acknowledges. The psyche, according to Jung, operates beyond the constraints of time and space, functioning as a quantum field of infinite potential. His extensive research into alchemy revealed that the ancient practice wasn't merely about transforming lead into gold, but served as a symbolic representation of the mind's capacity to transmute reality. Jung documented countless cases where patients manifested profound physical and circumstantial changes through psychological integration work. This hidden law operates regardless of whether we're conscious of it. The unconscious mind continually projects its contents onto our external reality, shaping events and encounters in ways that reflect our innermost thoughts, fears, and desires. What makes this principle particularly powerful and dangerous to established systems of control is its democratizing nature. Unlike religious institutions that position intermediaries between individuals and divine power, Jung's discoveries suggest that each person carries within them the capacity to directly influence reality. The collective unconscious serves as a vast reservoir of archetypal energy that anyone can learn to access and direct. This revelation threatened entrenched power structures that depend on human beings feeling disconnected from their innate spiritual capabilities. Jung himself faced considerable resistance from the scientific establishment when presenting his findings on synchronicity and psychic phenomena, as these concepts challenged the mechanistic worldview that dominated academia. To me, forbidden law operates through symbolic language, the native tongue of the unconscious mind. Dreams, visions, and intuitive flashes aren't random neural firings, but messages from deeper aspects of consciousness attempting to communicate universal principles. Jung discovered that when individuals learn to recognize and work with personal and collective symbols, they develop a form of spiritual technology that bridges the gap between thought and manifestation. The secret societies and mystery schools of antiquity understood this process intimately, teaching initiates systematic methods for utilizing thought forms to shape reality. As we explore the next dimension of Jung's revolutionary understanding, we'll uncover how ancient civilizations encoded this knowledge in their mythologies and sacred practices. The cornerstone of Jung's forbidden law lies in his revolutionary concept of the collective unconscious, a vast psychic reservoir shared by all humanity, transcending individual experience and cultural boundaries. Unlike the personal unconscious, which stores our forgotten memories and repressed desires, this deeper layer houses primordial thought patterns that Jung called archetypes. These universal symbols and energetic templates exist independently of our conscious awareness, yet they profoundly influence how we perceive and interact with reality. Through extensive cross-cultural research, Jung discovered that identical symbolic motifs appeared spontaneously in dreams, visions, and creative works across civilizations that had no contact with one another, suggesting an underlying unified field of consciousness. What makes these archetypal forces so transformative is their ability to bridge the visible and invisible realms. When consciously engaged through ritual, active imagination, or symbolic work, archetypes function as energetic portals that allow us to access higher dimensions of reality. Jung documented how patients who worked with archetypal imagery experienced profound shifts not only in their psychological state, but in their external circumstances as well. The ancient Hermetic axiom, as above so below, describes this principle perfectly. By aligning our conscious mind with these universal patterns, we create a resonance that ripples outward, reconfiguring the material world to match our internal state. This process of energetic entrainment explains why visualization and focused intention can produce tangible results that defy conventional understanding. The shadow archetype represents one of the most potent keys to unlocking reality-altering capabilities. Jung emphasized that this repository of rejected and disowned aspects of ourselves doesn't just influence our psychology, it actively shapes our external reality through unconscious projection. When we refuse to acknowledge certain qualities within ourselves, we unwittingly cast them onto the world, creating situations and attracting people that reflect these denied elements. The forbidden knowledge Jung unveiled is that by consciously integrating these shadow aspects, we reclaim tremendous psychic energy and gain the ability to manipulate our reality with far greater precision. Spiritual traditions worldwide have encoded this process in their initiation rituals, guiding practitioners through controlled shadow confrontations to access heightened states of consciousness and manifestation abilities. Jung's explorations of ancient alchemical texts revealed that they weren't merely primitive chemistry, but sophisticated manuals for psychological transformation and reality manipulation. The alchemical operations, calcination, dissolution, separation, conjunction, fermentation, distillation, and coagulation, outline precise stages for converting thought into matter. Modern quantum physics has begun to validate Jung's intuitive understanding, demonstrating that consciousness and observation directly influence subatomic particles. The Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, particularly the observer effect, scientifically supports what esoteric traditions have taught for millennia. Reality exists in a state of infinite potential until collapsed into specific form by conscious attention. As we explore the next dimension of Jung's forbidden law, we'll uncover how specific frequency patterns determine which potential realities manifest. The activation of Jung's forbidden law relies heavily on understanding the symbolic language through which the unconscious mind communicates with our conscious awareness. Dreams serve as the most direct access point to this hidden dimension of reality, revealing the psyche's current energetic configuration and its attempts to bring balance through compensatory imagery. Jung discovered that recurring symbols in dreams aren't random, but precisely calibrated messages designed to guide our conscious choices toward alignment with our authentic self. By documenting thousands of patient dreams, he identified specific symbolic patterns that consistently preceded manifestation breakthroughs, moments when internal psychological shifts crystallized into external reality changes. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools treated dreams as divine messages, establishing elaborate temples dedicated to dream incubation where initiates would sleep to receive guidance on manipulating reality. The controversial aspect of Jung's work centers around his discovery of what he termed psychoid phenomena, experiences where psychic content appears to directly influence physical reality without conventional causal mechanisms. His extensive research into synchronicity demonstrated that meaningful coincidences occur far more frequently than statistical probability would suggest, particularly during periods of intense psychological transformation. These reality-bending moments typically cluster around archetypal activations, especially when individuals undergo significant identity shifts. The metaphysical control systems that have dominated human consciousness for millennia deliberately obscured this knowledge, recognizing that individuals aware of their reality-creating capabilities would be impossible to manipulate through fear and artificial limitation. Jung's clinical observations revealed that people awakening to these abilities often experienced supernatural phenomena, including precognition, telepathy, and psychokinesis. The vibrational aspect of Jung's forbidden law explains why certain thought patterns manifest quickly, while others remain stuck in potential form. He observed that emotional intensity acts as the primary catalyst that converts thought into matter. The stronger the emotional charge, the more rapidly the manifestation occurs. This principle explains why traumatic events and intense fears often manifest with shocking precision, while positive desires might remain unfulfilled despite conscious focus. The alchemical solution involves transmuting emotional energy through conscious shadow work, raising one's vibrational frequency to match the desired reality. Ancient sacred geometry, particularly the flower of life pattern found across diverse cultures, encodes mathematical instructions for achieving specific vibrational states that facilitate reality manipulation. Modern biofeedback technology now confirms that certain brainwave patterns correlate with enhanced manifestation abilities. The etheric body serves as the intermediary bridge between thought and physical reality, functioning as the energetic blueprint that precedes material manifestation. Jung's investigations into Eastern spiritual traditions expanded his understanding of how this subtle energy field responds to thought impulses, reconfiguring its pattern before physical changes appear. Esoteric practitioners across traditions developed methodologies for directed energy flow through this vehicle, accelerating the manifestation process through specific breathing techniques, visualization practices, and sound frequencies. The pineal gland, which Jung connected to the Ajna chakra, or third eye in Eastern systems, plays a crucial role in this process by producing dimethyltryptamine, DMT, during altered states, facilitating direct perception of and interaction with quantum potentials before they materialize. Advanced practitioners develop the ability to consciously project their intention through this gland, imprinting specific outcomes onto the quantum field of infinite possibility. The anima and animus archetypes represent Jung's most profound insight into reality manipulation, through the sacred marriage of masculine and feminine energies within the psyche. These contrasexual aspects of our unconscious mind act as gatekeepers to our manifestation abilities, with full access to reality creation powers only occurring when these polarities achieve harmonic balance. Jung documented how patients experiencing anima-animus integration suddenly reported synchronistic events accelerating around them, as if reality itself had become more responsive to their thoughts and intentions. Ancient mystery traditions encoded this alchemical union in symbols like the caduceus, with its intertwining serpents representing the balanced flow of polarized energies that activates dormant spiritual capacities. The forbidden aspect of this knowledge lies in its challenge to patriarchal power structures that systematically suppressed feminine wisdom traditions to limit humanity's collective manifestation abilities. The most controversial element of Jung's work involves what he termed constellation, the process by which archetypal energies gather and organize psychic material around them, creating patterns that extend beyond the individual psyche into the material world. When we consciously engage with specific archetypes through ritual, meditation, or creative expression, we activate their corresponding energetic templates in the collective unconscious, drawing synchronistic experiences that reflect their qualities. Initiatory systems worldwide recognized this principle, designing ceremonies specifically to constellate certain archetypal powers for reality manipulation. The ancient Egyptian priests used precise combinations of sound, movement, and imagery to invoke distinct cosmic forces, while Hermetic adepts employed planetary correspondences to align their consciousness with specific manifestation frequencies. Modern physics now validates this understanding through field theory, demonstrating how organized energy patterns propagate through space-time. Jung's exploration of divination systems like the I Ching revealed sophisticated technologies for navigating probable realities before choosing which to manifest. Rather than mere fortune-telling, these systems functioned as quantum field maps, allowing practitioners to explore potential timeline branches before committing their psychic energy to a specific outcome. The synchronistic principles underlying such divination methods demonstrate that time itself is not linear but holographic, with all possibilities existing simultaneously in the quantum field. By introducing randomizing elements, like casting coins or shuffling cards, while maintaining focused intention, the conscious and unconscious minds temporarily align, creating an access point to the unified field where all information exists simultaneously. This practice of active synchronicity allows practitioners to consciously select and strengthen specific probability threads, effectively choosing which reality tunnel to explore and manifest. The mandala represents Jung's most potent tool for reality engineering, functioning as a geometric representation of wholeness that reconfigures the psyche's energetic pattern. His extensive studies of Tibetan Buddhism revealed how these sacred geometric diagrams serve as psychic technology for manifestation, creating energetic blueprints that the unconscious mind uses to restructure reality. When an individual creates or meditates upon a mandala, they engage in quantum observation at the archetypal level, collapsing infinite potentials into specific patterns aligned with their deepest intentions. The circular nature of the mandala symbolizes completion and perfection, teaching the psyche to organize itself around a sacred center rather than remaining fragmented among competing desires. Modern brainwave research confirms that exposure to mandala patterns induces coherent brain states associated with enhanced creativity, intuition, and manifestation capacity, explaining why virtually every spiritual tradition incorporates these geometric forms in their transformation practices. The process of individuation stands as the ultimate expression of Jung's forbidden law, representing the psyche's natural drive toward wholeness and self-realization. Unlike conventional therapy that merely seeks to alleviate symptoms, individuation activates our inherent capacity to transform reality by bringing unconscious content into conscious awareness. Jung observed that patients progressing through this journey exhibited increasingly powerful synchronicities and reality-bending phenomena, as fragmented aspects of their psyche integrated into a coherent whole. The quantum effects of this psychological unification extend far beyond the individual, creating ripples in the collective field that attract corresponding external circumstances. Ancient mystery schools referred to this process as becoming, the philosopher's stone, transforming into an activated being capable of transmuting reality through the force of consciousness alone. Modern spiritual technologies like holotropic breathwork access the same transformative mechanisms, using altered consciousness to reorganize both psychic and material reality. The supernatural phenomena Jung documented in his private journals, yet hesitated to publish academically, reveal the most controversial aspects of his reality manipulation discoveries. Patients undergoing profound psychological transformation frequently reported telekinetic events, prophetic dreams, spontaneous healing, and other paranormal occurrences that defied conventional explanation. Rather than dismissing these accounts, Jung collected them meticulously, noting their correlation with specific stages of the individuation process. His research into ancient Gnostic texts revealed that early Christian mystics documented identical phenomena, describing them as natural manifestations of the awakened pneuma, or spiritual consciousness. The suppression of these accounts by institutional religion wasn't accidental, but a deliberate attempt to prevent individuals from recognizing their innate power to transcend physical limitations through consciousness alone. Jung's comparative studies across traditions confirmed that Taoist immortals, yogic siddhis, and shamanic abilities all describe the same underlying process of reality manipulation through heightened consciousness. The controversial Red Book, Jung's most intimate record of his own journey into the collective unconscious, reveals his direct encounters with autonomous archetypal beings capable of influencing physical reality. These interdimensional entities, which Jung later conceptualized more conservatively as aspects of the collective unconscious, provided specific instructions for reality manipulation techniques that he partially encoded in his formal psychological theories. The active imagination method Jung developed allows conscious engagement with these energetic intelligences, establishing communication channels with aspects of consciousness that exist beyond conventional space-time limitations. Ancient cultures universally acknowledge these beings, whether called devas, angels, jinn, or demons, recognizing them as intermediaries between human consciousness and the formative powers of the universe. Jung's breakthrough was demonstrating that these entities aren't supernatural, but represent natural extensions of human consciousness operating at different vibrational frequencies, accessible through specific altered states. Sacred masculine and feminine principles represent complementary energetic frequencies that, when balanced, activate the most powerful reality-creating capabilities within human consciousness. Jung's extensive analysis of alchemical texts revealed that the chemical marriages described in these ancient works symbolize the integration of these polarized forces within the psyche. The divine resonance established through this internal balance creates a corresponding harmony in one's external reality, spontaneously reorganizing circumstances to reflect this integrated state. Ancient tantric traditions recognized this principle, developing sophisticated practices for circulating balanced masculine and feminine energies through the subtle body to manifest desired outcomes. The deliberate suppression of the sacred feminine in Western consciousness represents the single most effective strategy for limiting humanity's manifestation abilities, creating a collective psychic imbalance that prevents access to our full creative potential. By healing this primordial split, individuals reclaim their complete reality engineering capacities. The symbolic death and rebirth experience represents the quantum leap in consciousness necessary to fully activate Jung's forbidden law of reality creation. Through his extensive studies of initiation rituals across cultures, Jung recognized that transformative ego dissolution serves as the gateway to accessing higher dimensional awareness and manifestation abilities. Ancient mystery schools from Egypt to Greece designed elaborate ceremonies specifically to induce this psycho-spiritual death, understanding that the personality structure must temporarily disintegrate for the initiate to perceive and operate from the unified field of consciousness. Jung documented similar experiences in modern patients undergoing profound psychological breakthroughs, noting their reports of disintegration anxiety followed by transcendent states where material reality seemed infinitely malleable to thought. This process activates dormant brain structures and energy centers, particularly the pineal gland, which esoteric traditions identify as the physical anchor point for our multidimensional consciousness. The concept of spiritual frequency calibration emerges from Jung's observations that different thought patterns and emotional states create distinctive energy signatures that attract corresponding reality experiences. His research into Eastern practices like meditation revealed that these disciplines weren't merely relaxation techniques, but sophisticated methods for raising one's vibrational state to access enhanced manifestation abilities. The forbidden knowledge, concealed within ancient texts, describes specific thoughts, sounds, and visualization practices designed to achieve precise frequency patterns associated with reality manipulation. Modern neuroscience now confirms that meditation alters brainwave patterns, particularly increasing gamma wave activity associated with heightened perception and consciousness. The mystery traditions encoded this understanding in sacred sound technologies like Gregorian chants, Sanskrit mantras, and Tibetan singing bowls, each calibrated to produce specific vibrational effects that facilitate reality engineering. Jung's investigation of mystical traditions worldwide uncovered a consistent description of energetic implants and psychic blockages artificially limiting human manifestation capabilities. His clinical work revealed that many psychological complexes function as energy constrictions in the subtle body, created through traumatic experiences and cultural conditioning. These energetic knots prevent the free flow of manifestation energy between thought and physical reality, explaining why many people struggle to create their desired experiences despite conscious intention. Ancient healing systems like traditional Chinese medicine recognized these blockages, developing acupuncture, qigong, and other methodologies specifically to release these implants and restore natural reality-creating functions. The most controversial aspect of Jung's discoveries suggests that certain belief systems were deliberately engineered and implanted in the collective psyche to limit humanity's innate reality manipulation powers, creating a consensus reality that benefits systems of control. The practice of active imagination represents Jung's most accessible technology for conscious reality creation, bridging the gap between ordinary awareness and the quantum reality-generating capabilities of the unconscious mind. Unlike passive visualization, this dynamic engagement with symbolic consciousness establishes a two-way communication channel with the archetypal forces that shape physical manifestation. Jung documented remarkable cases where patients using this technique experienced profound shifts in their external circumstances, often in ways that defied conventional causality. Ancient shamanic traditions utilize similar journeying practices to directly interact with and modify the energetic patterns underlying physical reality. The forbidden aspect of this knowledge lies in its democratization of spiritual power, requiring no intermediaries, sacred buildings, or institutional approval to access. By engaging regularly with symbolic consciousness through this practice, practitioners develop the ability to navigate probability fields with increasing precision, selecting and strengthening specific reality tunnels from infinite potential. Timelines. The ancient practice of sigil magic, which Jung connected to his understanding of symbolic consciousness, provides one of the most direct methods for imprinting intentions onto the quantum field. Through his analysis of medieval grimoires and alchemical texts, Jung recognized that these geometric symbols function as concentrated thought forms, bypassing the filtering mechanism of the rational mind to directly access reality-creating functions of the unconscious. The process involves distilling desire into abstract symbolic form, energetically charging it through focused intention, and then releasing it into the collective field through a moment of consciousness shift or gnosis. Jung discovered that patients who spontaneously created personal symbols during therapy experienced accelerated manifestation, of the qualities these symbols represented. The quantum mechanical principle underlying this practice involves collapsing wave function probabilities through focused observer consciousness, explaining why the charging phase requires intense emotional energy to effectively imprint the intention pattern onto physical reality. The astral plane, which Jung referenced more cautiously as the collective unconscious, represents the energetic template realm where thoughts exist as patterns before manifesting in physical form. His private journals document experiments with conscious astral projection, a practice found across esoteric traditions worldwide for directly manipulating reality at its formative stage. Advanced practitioners develop the ability to maintain awareness while accessing this dimension, where thought instantly creates form and where the conventional rules of space-time no longer apply. Ancient Egyptian priests performed elaborate rituals in specialized temple chambers designed specifically to facilitate this state, while Tibetan Buddhist dream yoga practices achieve similar results through lucid dreaming techniques. Modern scientific research into out-of-body experiences and remote viewing provides preliminary validation for these ancient practices, demonstrating that consciousness can operate independently of the physical brain to perceive and influence distant locations. The sacred geometry encoded in ancient architecture reveals another dimension of Jung's forbidden law, the discovery that certain mathematical proportions resonate with and amplify human consciousness to enhance manifestation abilities. His extensive travels to sacred sites worldwide led him to recognize recurring patterns like the golden ratio, Fibonacci sequence, and platonic solids embedded in temples designed as reality amplification technology. These structures weren't merely symbolic but functioned as energetic machines, focusing and broadcasting the collective intention of practitioners utilizing them. The pineal gland responds particularly strongly to these proportions, explaining why exposure to sacred, geometric forms enhances intuition and manifestation capacity. Modern research into cymatics, the study of visible sound patterns, validates this understanding by demonstrating how specific frequencies create ordered geometric forms in physical matter. This science of vibrational control explains why ancient civilizations invested enormous resources in constructing precise mathematical structures. The alchemical process of transmutation represents the core mechanism of Jung's forbidden law, revealing how consciousness directly converts energy between different states of manifestation. His groundbreaking psychological interpretation of alchemy decoded the symbolic language concealing this reality-creating technology, revealing that the philosopher's stone represents the awakened human consciousness capable of manipulating matter through focused intention. The stages of alchemical transformation outline the precise process through which thoughts ultimately materialize in physical reality, moving from nebulous potential to crystallized form. Quantum physics now validates this understanding through experiments demonstrating that subatomic particles exist in states of probability until collapsed into specific form through observation. The most advanced ancient mystery schools taught initiate specific visualization technologies for consciously directing this quantum collapse function, effectively choosing which probability thread to materialize from infinite potential realities. These practices continue in Tibetan traditions like Tummo, where advanced practitioners demonstrate the mind's ability to control bodily functions previously thought autonomic. The Akashic field, which Jung referred to more cautiously as the collective unconscious, functions as the information reservoir containing all potential realities across time and space. His extensive research into paranormal phenomena revealed that certain altered states of consciousness allow direct access to this field, explaining abilities like precognition, remote viewing, and past life recall that transcend conventional space-time limitations. Ancient traditions worldwide acknowledged this dimension, calling it by various names: the Akashic Records, the Book of Life, or Indra's Net, recognizing it as the unified information matrix from which physical reality emerges. Jung documented numerous cases where patients spontaneously accessed information they couldn't have known through conventional means, particularly during transformative psychological breakthroughs. Modern quantum physics provides a theoretical framework for this field through concepts like non-locality and quantum entanglement, demonstrating that particles once connected remain informationally linked regardless of physical separation. The process of reality incubation reveals the time-delayed aspect of Jung's forbidden law, explaining why manifestation often follows a gestation period rather than appearing instantaneously. Through studying thousands of synchronicity cases, Jung discovered that significant reality shifts typically emerge approximately 3 months after the initial psychological breakthrough that seeded them. This period allows the energetic template to organize necessary components in the physical dimension before fully materializing the new reality configuration. Ancient agricultural societies encoded this understanding in their seasonal rituals, recognizing that proper timing plays a crucial role in successful manifestation. The mystery schools developed elaborate calendar systems specifically to track optimal manifestation cycles, teaching initiates to plant intention seeds during specific astronomical alignments when the boundary between mental and physical reality becomes most permeable. Modern chaos theory validates this understanding through the butterfly effect, demonstrating how small initial changes propagate through complex systems to create major outcomes over time. The lost science of ceremonial space creation represents one of the most powerful applications of Jung's forbidden law, utilizing precise environmental conditions to amplify manifestation abilities. His analysis of ancient temple architecture revealed that these structures weren't merely symbolic, but precisely engineered technologies for reality manipulation. Sacred sites worldwide share remarkable mathematical properties that enhance specific brainwave patterns associated with manifestation abilities, properties like phi ratio proportions, specific acoustic resonances, and geomagnetic anomalies. The ancient builders understood that human consciousness operates most efficiently within certain environmental parameters, designing spaces specifically to facilitate enhanced manifestation states. Modern research into the effects of sacred architecture on consciousness validates this understanding, showing measurable changes in brainwave activity, heart rate variability, and even photon emissions from the body when individuals occupy these spaces. This explains why genuine spiritual experiences feel more accessible in certain locations. The controversial concept of morphic resonance, which Jung anticipated through his theory of the collective unconscious, explains how reality-creating patterns strengthen through repetition across the unified field. His observations of how archetypal motifs spontaneously appear across cultures with no contact suggested an underlying information field connecting all consciousness. This principle reveals why established manifestation practices become increasingly effective with repeated use. The energetic pathway between thought and physical reality strengthens through consistent travel, creating what esoteric traditions call a magical current. Ancient lineage-based spiritual systems understood this principle, carefully preserving unbroken chains of practice to maintain powerful manifestation currents developed over generations. The forbidden knowledge within these traditions includes understanding how to tap into these pre-established reality tunnels, accessing the accumulated manifestation power of countless practitioners who came before. Modern epigenetic research provides a biological parallel, demonstrating how experience creates heritable changes that influence future generations without altering the genetic code itself. The forbidden law of thought that Carl Jung uncovered represents the most powerful technology for reality creation ever discovered, a sacred science deliberately fragmented and concealed throughout history. By understanding how the collective unconscious functions as the quantum blueprint for physical reality, you've gained access to knowledge that transforms you from a passive observer into a conscious creator. The journey of integrating your shadow aspects isn't merely psychological healing, but the reclamation of tremendous manifestation energy previously lost to unconscious projection. As you've learned, the ancient alchemists weren't engaged in primitive chemistry, but sophisticated reality engineering, encoding their understanding in symbolic language to preserve it through periods of suppression. The most revolutionary aspect Some of Jung's discoveries is their democratic nature. These abilities aren't reserved for special individuals, but represent the birthright of every human being. The sacred technologies for reality manipulation aren't dependent on external authority, but on inner psychic integration. By understanding how archetypal energies function as gateways to specific manifestation frequencies, you've gained the ability to consciously attune your consciousness to create resonant realities aligned with your authentic self. The synchronicities you experience will increase dramatically as you implement these principles, serving as confirmation that you're successfully communicating with the underlying matrix of existence through the language of symbolic consciousness. Your journey into this forbidden knowledge places you in the lineage of wisdom keepers who have preserved these truths through millennia of suppression. The responsibility that comes with this understanding cannot be overstated. As you develop your reality-creating abilities, you'll recognize how your thoughts contribute to the collective field that shapes our shared experience. The ancient initiatory systems emphasized ethical development alongside manifestation techniques, understanding that power without wisdom creates karmic entanglements that limit spiritual evolution. By approaching these practices with reverence and responsibility, you align yourself with the highest expression of human potential, conscious participation in creation itself. The world stands at a critical threshold where these once hidden teachings are emerging into collective awareness. As science continues exploring quantum consciousness and the observer effect, Jung's most controversial discoveries are finding validation in mainstream research. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and share which aspect of these forbidden teachings resonated most deeply with you. Your insights contribute to the collective awakening that's currently unfolding across humanity. In our next exploration, which is appearing on your screen now, we'll dive even deeper into the ancient technologies for accessing and navigating the astral plane, the dimensional interface where thought directly shapes reality before physical manifestation. Until then, remember that the most powerful reality-creating technology already exists within you, waiting to be consciously activated.